Hello, it is Topical Tuesday, Cinco de Mayo, May 5th, 2020. Steve Sipress here, and I almost couldn't pronounce my own name after a long day of helping clients and doing a whole bunch of giving out a free help for those who go to helpfromsteve.com, giving free consultations to overcome the craziness that's going on right now. And you might have seen a few weeks ago, Warren Buffett, the greatest investor of all time, dumped tons of stock that he owned through his holding company, his investment company. He dumped tons of stock in the airline industry, in various leading airlines. But then a couple of days ago, he just announced that they dumped it all. So Berkshire Hathaway, zero investment in any airline company. Now, what is the lesson for small business owners to be learned by that? Well, first of all, Buffett said it straight out, made a mistake. He thought that the airlines weren't going to be as hard hit as he now believes. It's pretty obvious that they have been and will continue to be by the panicdemic that's going on. The way people are changing their habits, the way fear is creeping in. This isn't going to be the last virus when it goes away. People are going to live in fear for forever. It's how people do. And Buffett sees how easy it is to gin up the fear and get people to change their life habits, their buying habits, in this case, their travel habits. Commercial airlines that over the years, if you've been paying attention, if you've been flying or paying attention to the news in the industry, they continue to put more and more seats packed closer and closer together on the planes. All the airline carriers, the biggest ones and the ones that are not in America, not as guilty of this as the cheaper ones, which really pack people in and put the seats, like 4 inches of leg room between the rows, and the seats are more narrow than ever, and they sell out every plane and cut out flights that are less popular so that every plane is overbooked and therefore jam-packed and sold out. You got that bus in the sky effect. Well, people are not happy with that. And Buffett sees that in the future, people are not going to be happy with that for a long time to come. Plus, companies are changing all kinds of the established thinking of, hey, you got a problem with a major client of ours, Joe, hop on a plane, take Sally and Tom and get on the next flight and get up there and go see them and talk to them. And that is likely to be ending with the advent now, everyone, the past couple of months, realizing that teleconferencing and Zoom calls and Skype and whatever, perfectly acceptable, perfectly fine. Whatever it is, there's certainly a percentage of the airline industry that isn't coming back. And so Buffett dumps it all as a smart investor. Now, what has this got to do with you as a small business owner? Unfortunately, from what I see, small business owners, I'm as guilty as the next, not anymore, but I learned my lesson years ago, of clinging to a bad situation and living in what I call a what-if world, and just hoping that things come back even in the face of all the statistics and the data and even the real feelings, if you thought about it, your gut, that it ain't coming back like it was. Restaurants right now, any retail establishment, but certainly restaurants, anything in the hospitality industry, hotels, airfare, convention centers, ballparks, concerts, restaurants, any of that stuff, it ain't coming back, at least not for a long, long time. In other words, never coming back as it is. So that's the big lesson. And you shouldn't feel bad. It's very human nature to not want to have what's called a fear of loss, not want to lose what you've built, your business that you built. But Steve, you don't understand. This has been in my family for generations. My grandfather started this restaurant, and my father then ran it. My mom and dad and I was in it when I was 2 years old. I was already sweeping up the floors as soon as I could walk and they told me stories that I was greeting the people coming in to eat dinner when I was 3 years old, and this is in my blood. You got to cut all of that out. That's the lesson from Warren Buffett. You've got to look at it with some sense, looking at the data and looking ahead at the projections. And do you really think if right now someone said, I'm going to give you a business, and it's either going to be a restaurant or it's going to be this type of business or that type of business, that you would say, I'll choose the restaurant, please? Yeah, that makes sense right now. Well, that's what Warren Buffett did with the airlines. He said, right now and for the foreseeable future, not smart. We are out completely. So what's been happening the last couple of months since the shutdown started is hopefully you have been making some changes and some transitions. And even if you're not getting out of the current, or if you've already gotten out of the business you were in completely, you've made some big changes. And if not, there's still time to do it. Chaos is reigning supreme, more chaos than ever, especially if you do business across state lines in various areas, because every area right now has got their own phase one, phase two, this, that. These are the rules. The more authoritarian and actually the more anti-Trump the ruler is of the county or the city of the state, the more cautious, quote, they're being, the more against the rebound of the economy, basically against business they are being, and saying, we need more testing, and we need more masks, and we need more. We got to have, can't open all the businesses yet. We need more time, all that kind of stuff. And so it's kind of ironic because Trump is the one who started the shutdown and started all the fear and panic. And yet now it's the pro-Trumpers who want to open up, even though he's the one that started off the whole shutting it down. But anyway, of course, it's a campaign election year here in America for president and for all the Congress and for a third of the Senate and for a lot of governor and mayor races. So that's all coming into play all around. But you bring it right back home to your business. Look at it objectively and ask yourself that question, like Warren Buffett did. Warren Buffett asked himself, if I had money and I was going to invest in one type of industry today, would it be the airline industry? When you put it that way, the answer is an obvious, resounding no. What about in your business? If you were starting from scratch, did not have your business, would you invest in that particular, not even just that type of business, in that particular business that has those particular products and those particular service in that particular area, serving that particular ideal target or even just any old market? Is that the smart business to invest in if you were starting from scratch? Well, if the answer is no, then it's time to either sell it, dump it, get rid of it, walk away, or make some big changes. And don't feel bad if you're full of confusion about what changes to make. Business is much an art form as it is a science. And so that's when you tap into people with expertise and experience in areas and in times that perhaps you don't. I've got a great outlet for that, great place you can tap into that. Besides going to helpfromsteve.com, you just get me. I have a private Facebook group that is rocking, and we call it Profit from Chaos. It's named after the free report I have called How to Profit from Chaos. And even with some states opening up, as I said, the chaos is just starting and is going to go on for way into the foreseeable future. So you ought to go over to the website, profitfromchaos.com, if you haven't already, and get that free report and get an invitation to my private Facebook group. You can get in there, you can bounce some ideas off people, you can see what other people are doing, what's working, what's not working, how people are thinking, and you can make the right decisions. Based, of course, we're humans, we make some decisions based on emotion, but also based on the logic and the facts, instead of just blindly saying, yeah, but I got to fight to keep it. And is that really the smartest decision? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Depends. It's different for every business. So Profit from Chaos is where you go to get help with that. And you will no longer be confused or in a fog. You'll have some clarity and some confidence with what direction to take your business in, where to invest your time, your effort, your money from right now going forward. That's my suggestion. And we're learning that big lesson. If you don't believe Warren Buffett knows what he's doing and that he knows a little better than me and you, then I can't help you. That'll do it for Topical Tuesday. Greg is here. Great seeing you. And I saw a bunch of other people go flying by. Thanks for the likes, the shares, the comments, questions, concerns, anything at all. Post them wherever you're watching this, reading it, listening to it. I love the questions and the back and forth. I know I can help people more when you do ask the questions instead of just sit there and consume the information passively. Anyway, I'll catch you over in the Profit from Chaos Facebook group. You get there by going to profitfromchaos.com. And I'll be back tomorrow on World Wide Web Wednesday with more help for you. Thanks for tuning in today. Bye-bye.